Hey viewers, welcome to another game at Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing MillDayshi, as you can see as the Terran in the bottom right, versus QuantiCenter as the Terran in the top left. So Terran versus Terran, my favorite matchup to be honest. It is very strategic, you have a lot of possibilities. And yeah, it's just my favorite because it actually allows you to do a whole lot of tactical choices. And yeah, use those tactical choices to actually win the game, which is normally not the case because in many cases it is just about the unit composition and yeah, the amount of macro you can get. But here it's more about the tactical choices. Obviously, because it's a mirror matchup, it becomes a little bit more important to yeah, get your economy going right away. But most of these pro players, they can get their economy going just right, and that is exactly what we're seeing here. So they will be building a similar build, although we do see a very early, what's it called, the refinery coming up. And we will not see the refinery on this side, because refinery this early on is not very common. You only have 10 workers, well 11 with this one. And that is normally not when you go for this, because normally we see the refinery after they build up their first buildings, so their first barracks and their wall off, and then a couple more SCVs. But yeah, well, if you put 3 workers on this, you basically lose 3 workers from your mineral lines, and therefore you lose a lot of minerals. But yeah, if you do it right, you can actually get a whole lot done with that refinery, because with the gas you can get an early factory. Or, well, into maybe an early starport, into maybe early banshees, something like that. You can also just go for factory units before they are out for the enemies. And yeah, you can see how, well, barracks units cannot really stand up to, for example, Hellion. So, if you go for that, if you go for the early factory with something like, I don't know, let's say Hellions. Hellions with marine support, that or with marauder support, I don't really care. You can actually do very well, and if you go for banshees early on, yeah, that is not very effective against Terran normally, but it can still do very well. Because as you can see, if you hover around here, the marines will be able to come in over here, but the workers will still not be able to farm, and you will lose quite a lot of mining time, and that is of course exactly what that's about. We are going to see the factory pick up this reactor. I don't really know why he didn't build that closer together if he wanted to do that. But yeah, we are going to see Hellions. That's exactly what I thought we would be seeing. And let's see if we are going for something else. No, just the supply depot to scout for incoming airships. Which may be either medevacs or like banshees, who cares, something. But we are going to see Hellions, and the Hellions may actually just, yeah, it's just a factory. It's no add-on yet. So he's not going to switch that out right away. And we are going to see the starport. The starport will then be medevacs, I guess, to get a drop-off with like 2 Hellions and a couple of marines. That might actually be the case. On the other hand, it may also just be something completely different, and we will just have to wait. It is indeed a medevac, and I'm thinking it will be a drop, because, well, he's preparing for a drop, to guard against the drop here, because that's why he built that supply depot, which normally means you have that in mind. So normally we see people build against their own build. If they're going to do something sneaky. It's not going to be Hellions, it's just going to be Marines that are going to be dropped. And the Hellions are just going to be out, they're going to snipe their first SCV. And with 3 Hellions out, he can actually one-shot any SCV. Assuming that, well, all 3 of them are grouped up and they actually attack the same SCV. Hang on, we should be able to follow them. As they are traversing the map, 2 more Hellions are coming up to join this group. Where's the last one? Oh, it's already in there. It's not a... It's a medevac. That's why it didn't come in. Anyway, the supply depot is coming up for the opponent as well. And we are going to see the drop. The drop is Marines with the medevac versus Marines without a medevac. And that is going to be very hard to defend. And look at the amount of SCVs he's sniping with these Hellions. The Hellions, of course, are very nice against anything that's light. And yeah, everything does go down, but we still have the 3 Hellions. And the 3 Hellions are going to do some extra damage to these SCVs. SCVs might all go down. Oh, come on! They're so close to dying. All of them are close to dying. Let's see what he picked up. He picked up 18 workers. That could have been like 24 easily. But yeah, couldn't get the last shot off. And he is going to fly out with just the Viking. The Viking that just came in to give some support. And now he's going to set up a little bit of a defense. But he already is significantly ahead now in income. I don't know how we did... well, the income isn't... in minerals isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, you can see in gas he's pretty far ahead. It's because he has more workers. Let's see that. Yeah, 33 versus 20. And that is going to be very painful. Because, well, if you're behind in workers, you're going to be behind in income. Which means you're going to be behind in units. And in workers built. And you're going to be behind in bases built and things like that. So you need to make something happen with the small army that you have. And that is normally not going to work. Instead, he's just going to build back up. So build more SCVs than his opponent. And hope that that will be good enough. So anyway, our new command center is coming up, probably just to build up those workers. And he's going to build that into orbital command. But yeah, the orbital command's also up, so a supplementary orbital command's also up for this red player. And so they're both going to produce some extra SCVs. They're both going to try to take another base eventually. But it's mainly the amount of workers you can produce at this moment. Because if the red player can stay ahead in those in that worker count, then yeah, that is going to make a big difference. So the starport is going to relocate, and this tech lab is going to be attached to one of these barracks, I guess. The barracks, of course, do not have one yet, and tanks are coming out. He is going to set up a defensive line here to make sure that well, the enemy cannot just come in to snipe that, to snipe his base, and that is very wise. So all of the Hellions falling back here. We will have to see them attack again, because even if you're ahead like this, and he is pretty significantly ahead, resources lost. Yeah, you can see that the blue even lost more resources. So it's not that he traded an army for a bunch of workers. No, he actually killed more resources and took out a bunch of workers in the process. And yeah, all in all, as long as he can stay ahead in workers, which he can, because they have similar bases, as long as he can manage to do that, he should actually be ahead, and he should be able to produce more and more and more and more. And the income is going to be a slight difference now. There's about 150 more minerals per minute for the red player. Of course, it varies very much with the amount of mules that they bring out, but since they both have an equal amount of mules, it is kind of equal over time. And of course, the gas intake is still a lot higher for the Terran player. Oh, that was stupid. For the red Terran player. Yeah, it's higher for the Terran player. Yeah, you wouldn't expect that, right? In a Terran versus Terran. Anyway, we have a Raven out, which is because of the Widow Mines, of course. You don't want to get sniped by Widow Mines, especially if you're ahead, because it is a very good defensive strategy to have those Widow Mines just sitting somewhere, yeah, just waiting for an army to come by and then snipe like all the Hellions or something like that. Because if all of these Hellions take one blast, he may actually lose the fight. And of course the Hellions aren't full health anymore, well, not all of them at least. And yeah, it's just going to be hard to go up against if you run into Widow Mines. It's also why he built those right at the moment that the that his attack kind of petered out. He kind of lost his army in the enemy base, and he didn't know exactly what the opponent was going to do, whether he was going to go and all in on him. But those Widow Mines will actually stop that just cold in its tracks. So we do have some Hellbats coming out. The Hellbats can of course transform into Hellions, but you do have to research that, so normally we don't see that. I don't know if... yeah, Hellions can actually transform into Hellbats as well. That's pretty cute. I kind of assumed as much, but never seen anyone do that. So, yeah, we will be able to snipe all of this, and yeah, there you go. Getting a lot of yeah, units killed there, and you can see that the blue player is losing more and more and more. He is trying to get his upgrades going. But yeah, so is our red player, and the red player is going for vehicles. So vehicles are just tougher. They're harder to kill, they do more damage. It's just that you don't have that many of them. But that should normally not be a problem. Oh, the defense drone, what's it called again? The point defense drone. That was a very nice one. It took out a lot of the projectiles and then gets taken out, but that really doesn't matter. All of the army is down and there are no more units to defend. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed and I will see you next time. GG.